Ever dreamed of traveling the world but thought you couldn't afford it? What about training abroad, pursuing an athletic goal, or launching that adventure you've been putting off? Welcome to the Wardman World Explorer Fun podcast, where we share stories with people who've turned their biggest dreams into reality, often on a shoestring budget. Each episode, we sit down with explorers, nonprofit leaders, and people who've received grants to make the impossible happen. I'm Jordy, and this is where we unpack adventure one story at a time. Grantees, Leo, how are you today, Leo?
I'm great. Thank you, Jordy. How are you?
I'm doing so good. So Leo and I have not really spoken since she came back from her journey to Europe. So Leo, why don't you maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and yeah, we'll get right into it.
My name is Leo. Right now, I'm 26 years old, but when I started with this process, I was 25. I am from Mexico. I am from Puerto Vallarta, or actually a smaller town that's San Ignacio. It's like 5 minutes away from Sayulita, but you know the place. Not
Yeah.
maybe 2,000 people. So yeah.
So anyone that's listening to this, they may not be familiar with your story. So your dream was to go to Cologne and learn German. Maybe just start with, like, when did you get this dream? Like, where does it come from? Just tell us about that.
So I think it all started when I was around 15 or 16-year old. You know, through social media, I just started looking at pictures, and I always found Germany really beautiful, and like all these like the stations, like the colors. In Mexico, we, at least in Puerto Vallarta, we only have summer, so it was all very magic, the castles and the language. Ever since I learned English, I've always been curious about other languages, and for me, the German culture, that it was always so direct, so on time, so different from the Mexican culture, was really interesting to me. So I was always interested in learning German and experiencing the culture.
Oh wow, that's great. Okay, so we'll definitely get into talking about like Germany and stuff like that. But before we go into that, like, how was the preparation? Like, what we gave you sort of the news of the grant. When was that? Like, sort of October or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
September, October. Yeah, that's when we started in 2024.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. And then tell me about the prep, like, because you had never been on a plane before, right?
No, I actually think I did a lot of preparation for these trips because there's like so many things I have never ever done before. And you know, when you travel to other place, I knew I had to be more open and also try to fit into the culture. So, for example, I have never ever, I know I live in Puerto Vallarta, but I have never ever learned how to swim. I've never ever done that, so I started taking swimming lessons. I have never ever done hiking, and I knew in Germany they love sport. They're crazy about
Yeah.
sport. So I also started doing hikings on my own. Yeah, as you said, I've never really been on a plane or on a train. Like here, we don't really have that. I mean, yeah, planes, but I've never been on one before. So it
Yeah.
was very exciting, but also a little bit scary. So
Yeah.
yeah, and also like I started learning some German because I didn't want to get there and do not even
Yeah.
know the basics.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah.
tell me about swimming. Like, that's amazing that you just learned, you took up swimming. Like, tell me, did you swim in Germany in some of those freezing cold lakes or what?
There was a lake near my house, and when it was summer, I got to swim in there. I think when it was winter, I visited the lake, but no one was actually
Yeah.
swimming there. So yeah,
But you are swimming though, like, is it like lessons or what? How did it? I mean, because that's like a huge thing, right? To
yeah.
be in Vallarta, live on the beaches are everywhere, and you never really had the courage to learn how to swim. It's amazing. So I'm so proud of you. That's so great that you did that.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. We have some waterfalls here. We have
Yeah.
a lot of rivers, and we have the beaches. And it was kind of sad always, just staying on the edge of the ocean and, looking at people there. But in my family, they don't really know how to swim either. So it was always the fear, what if something happens? So I got the chance and I was like, okay, no, I gotta do it. If I want to experience more things, this is a step I need to take in order to do that.
That's great. That's great. When you first got to Germany, like how was the process? Like when you got off the plane, did you know enough German to feel like you could get around? Like,
Yeah, well, I flew from Mexico City to London, and then I went to Hamburg, and I had a friend in Hamburg. I was gonna meet with her. I'm gonna leave my things there before I would go to any other place. I knew some German, I guess the basics, but of course, one thing is what you learn in the book, what you can read. Other things like when they're speaking at real speed, and that's hard. Everything was really clear in the fact that there are signs everywhere. But I did have one issue when I got there. My suitcases got lost. So
uh,
basically, I only had my backpack with me, and I had to deal with that. My friend also helped me, but it had been 3 days and my suitcase were not coming yet.
oh, really? Okay. Well, the more you travel, you get very used to that. So
Yeah,
I'm sure,
exactly.
I'm sure that now you'll be prepared. You have a little like change of clothes or something in your little
Yeah.
backpack. You mentioned in your exit interview that you were like kind of a big planner, right? How that sort of changed as you got
Yeah.
more and more deeper into your travels.
So in the beginning, I even downloaded like maybe 3 apps to plan things. Like I had the number of my plane, the tickets, I had all the places I wanted to visit. I even had the directions there because it was also like, what if there's no internet? Like I just had every minute calculated on what I
Yeah,
wanted to do. That gave me a feeling of, okay, I'm safe. If I know what I'm going to do, I'm safe, but just starting from losing my suitcase and all the outfits I had already planned, that was absolutely like out of the plans. By now, I understand that traveling light is the easier and the best way you can do that. And later, I just love just taking my backpack and not even thinking about where I was gonna go. I had a Eurorail ticket and I just boarded the train that was available for me. And yeah, some places I would just be like a connection point. And then I would be like, oh my God, this place is so beautiful. I'm just going to stay here. And some places that I was planning to stay a couple of days, I would visit them and then I would just go to another place. It was for me, I think that's one of the biggest changes that I was always so in control, and this trip allowed me to, let go, to chill, to enjoy.
yeah, that's so great. How long did it take for you to realize, like, actually, I don't want to plan. I just want to like just maybe get on a train on a Thursday at 4 o'clock and maybe go to some place that's 2 hours away or something like.
It took me a while. I think it was a couple of months or 3 months, maybe, because in the beginning, even though I lost my suitcase, I would still try to stick to the plane the more I could, because again,
Yeah,
it was like my first time. But then when I was all settled in Germany, when I was in Cologne, and then when I just felt secure on it, I would just start doing it. I was like, oh my God, I'm in a totally different continent. I gotta try new things. I gotta experience that. And I was like, you're here. Part of the trip is that you want to have this grow. So I was like, sometimes I would feel uncomfortable. I'm not gonna say I was like eager to let all plans, but I was like,
yeah,
no, like you have to do it. I had to push
yeah,
myself to push every boundary I had. And I guess after 3 months, I started doing like weekend travels.
yeah.
And after those weekend travels during Christmas break, I did like around 15 or 20 days trip. And I was
Wow.
in Switzerland. I was in the south of Germany. I even went to Italy, and I came back through Austria to see the Alps. And
Yeah.
none of that was planned. So
Oh
Yeah.
wow. So notice also you mentioned one time, like in the beginning, you went to Paris and then you got lost. Like, that's like you didn't even know any French at all. So, and that's quite early in the trip.
I was trying to walk in the cities, but the place I was staying at was a little bit in the outside of Paris. So I was downtown. It was around 10 p.m. And then I said, okay, I think it's time, to head back home. But I think because of the summer, there was a lot of reparation. So I guess I got confused and I took the train. I took the train on the wrong direction. And my internet wasn't always really working, because you're under. So at some moments you don't really know. So after, I don't know, it was like half an hour and I was like, where's my station? And then I
Yeah.
finally noticed I was almost in the outside of Paris and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And then I took another train, but turns out I also got that one wrong. I even got even farther away. And in that moment, I was like so scared. I was like, I kind of almost wanted to cry. And then I knew I could call you guys. I knew I could call my family. I knew I could call friends. But I knew it wasn't going to be the last time it was going to happen to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, Leo, you gotta calm down. You gotta sing with your head cold. And yeah, so I just stopped for a second, breathe, and got on the right train. And I got home by maybe 1 or 2 a.m., but I got home and I was
Yeah.
safe. So
That's
that's the main
good.
thing.
But that's like 4 hours being lost in Paris. That's yeah. That's a good story. I like that. You mentioned doing couch surfing. I've never done that. Like, because it's like a service, right? You tell me about it.
Couchsurfing, I would highly recommend it to anyone who's traveling because it's a beautiful community. And I think the main thing about couchsurfing is you get to visit a place, but you get to interact with the local people. You actually get to eat what they eat. You get to see not only the touristic places, you get to have the real point of view of people. Beginning, it was like scary, especially when you come from Latin America, thinking about staying at other people's places. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never ever
So
done it. I
couch
mean,
surfing
not
is not a thing in Mexico. They don't do that.
no, but yeah. So it's an app and they have profiles. You also have a profile and you try to find people that you actually have something in common with.
Yeah.
So it's not just about staying at a place for free. It's also about connecting with people.
So
So
free
through
then.
that,
You
I
could
get to
actually
meet.
stay for free. You get to stay for
Yeah,
free.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. You get to
Oh,
stay
that's
for
amazing. So
free.
what does the host get? What do they get? They just want to meet people too? Is that what it is? Or
Yeah,
okay.
they want to meet people to know about your place and maybe make connections for when they want to travel to these other places. And
Okay.
also, they're just like, this is something really new to me. Like, I cannot understand how there's so much people just willing to give, to help, and to give you recommendations. On my case, I wouldn't feel good, just staying at a place. So I would always try to bring something and to cook something for
Okay.
them to share a little bit of Mexico. One time it was in Heidelberg. I was staying with a girl. She was from China and she had a German boyfriend. And she was living in a share flat. And she told me, "Oh, by the way, my friend is having like 18 years old party, join us." And I was like, "Are you sure? Is that okay?" She was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I ended up in a German 18 years old party that was really, really fun. Also, I think it was in Switzerland. There was this woman, Francisca, and she told me, "Are you okay if I take you to my friend's house?" And I was like, "Sure." And the thing is that most of them only speak German. So in that time, I had basically everything was in German. We were there and like I got to try some really delicious food. It happens to be that one of her friends was a hunter and he had hunted what's the name? Boar and hare, and they had prepared that food. So it all was amazing. And there were also a couple of people who study history, and they knew history of the city of Bern. So it was
Yeah.
really interesting. It was an amazing experience. Yeah.
So tell me like about like learning German in the classroom versus learning German like in that type of environment where you're being forced out of your comfort zone. Like,
Well, for me, I am a very, grammar person. So I'm really good with, reading and writing. But of course, for me, always the most challenging part has been speaking. It's hard. You gotta take every word, look for them in your head and bring them. And when not, you would end up doing mimics, so you would understand
yeah,
each
yeah,
other. So it's funny. You learn a lot, and also it's like the difference between like proper Hochdeutsch and the slang and the
yeah,
everyday German
yeah,
language.
yeah. And so your German, like what level are you at for German now?
I was about to complete B2.
Oh,
Not perfectly. It's still, I recall the very first time, it was the very first time I was coming to Cologne. I was on the train and there were like the speakers and they were saying something I didn't really understand, but everyone started getting off the train and I was like, what's going on? Why is everyone off the and well, by the end, I now I can catch up even like those go were like really fast and
and bonding with the classmates because you were in a intensive German class for like 6 months, right? Tell me about some of the connection, like the relationships that you made.
especially from school, we would see each other every
And
day,
you
but
would speak
then
to each other
uh
in German? Would you speak to each other in
yeah,
German? Yeah, okay,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
And I got to meet people from everywhere. I had there was one guy from Palestine in my class. There was a girl from Tucson in from the US. There was a girl from a country I've never ever heard of my life, from Turkmenistan, and there were people from Turkey. There were people from everywhere. So it was amazing seeing all these mix. And then after class, we would go by the Rhine and have a beer, enjoy some conversations together, and we would become really good friends. We would go to each other houses, and then the one night everyone would bring a dish, like a traditional dish, from their place and from their country, and it was amazing. It was just those are some of the best friendships I've made in my life. So
Oh my
yeah.
God, that's so great to hear. Do you have like a do you have one story to tell our listeners? One of the great memories that you have?
This one is about Christmas. So we have in Germany and I guess in other countries in Europe, we have the Christmas markets and they're all very magical, full of light, full of this Christmas spirit. So I kind of became a Christmas market hunter. And this time we were going to a town that's like maybe 2 hours or 3 hours by train from Cologne. And I was going with two other friends, Christmas markets. And we also got to be on one of those, how you call them, cable, like the
Yeah.
things you go on the
Yeah,
air and then
we
yeah,
call them funiculores or something, but that's the Italian name. I didn't even know. Like, yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah, those. So we went to those and we went to see a castle there. So the view by the river, it was beautiful. Then we head to the Christmas markets with delicious food there. Like the food at the Christmas markets, delicious. 10 over 10. We were finally heading back home. So Germans, they are very on time. Their trains are not. So the train stopped in the middle of the nothing and there were no other trains. We were kind of stuck there. It was already late, so there were no buses. And then my friend, the one that I told you, she's from Turkmenistan. It was
Yeah.
her very first time traveling. Like she was
Oh,
here
okay.
in Germany, but she wasn't really traveling. She was with
Yeah.
family. So she
Yeah.
was really scared, like, what am I going to do? In that moment, I could relate so much to her because that's how I felt when I was in Paris. And
And you helped her? Did that calm her down?
we call her parents because, of course, her parents were also really worried about her. And we show her, like, she's fine, she's safe, everything's going to be fine. But as I told you, we were like kind of in the middle of nothing, so no Uber was accepting the trip.
Yeah.
And then finally, one of the high speed trains, the ITSE, came and let us in. And then she was like, "Oh, you were right. You know, everything was gonna work out." So it was a good experience, and I just think I love that experience because in that moment I could look back and see how much I was now confident and good with unexpected situations. And so
Yeah, that's a
yeah.
big change, obviously, from when you first came and you were planning everything. How do you think that will carry forward in life? You're teaching Spanish, like how will you take these lessons and sort of carry them on in your life now?
I think this has absolutely reshaped my life, the way I see life, the way I approach life. Before, I was really introverted and I would always be scared about starting a conversation. Now I am not. I'm eager to connect with other people. Also, I cannot picture a life without traveling. It doesn't have to be to another continent, but even the next city, the next
Yeah.
person. Now I also I want to host couch surfers on my own because I want to continue this experience. That community was beautiful, so I want to continue with that. And learning in the sense of my career, I had already been teaching for 5 years, so doing that again like kind of refresh me, like, hey Leo, you gotta try new things for your students, you gotta try this thing. And like watching another teacher teaching a language also give me a lot of new ideas. I really believe I'm going to be a better teacher for my students. uh as a Spanish teacher, I would also love, like, if there's any other grantee in the future that wants to come to Mexico or to Spanish speaking country, for
Hmm.
me to be able to help them with Spanish, if that can, make them feel more secure about their
Yeah.
journey. I love German. I'm invested in German. So right now, everything I'm watching, if I'm watching something, I'm trying to put it in German. I
Okay.
made some friends in Germany, so of course I want to keep talking to them. And I'm reading. I told my teacher. She thought it was a really ambitious dream, but I still have it. I told
Yeah.
her I want to be able to read Nietzsche
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
in the original
Yeah.
language. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm still fighting for that.
Okay, good. Well, that's a good goal to get. We're going to be doing a big social media campaign and, like going out and trying to find other grantees. What would you tell some grantees that some possible people that are thinking about applying?
For me, it's about dreaming again. It's about building, learning how to dream again. And like, I think the biggest regret, it's not to fail. The biggest regret, it's not even trying. So that's what I would tell them. Like,
Hmm.
try.
Yeah.
There's no lose in trying. Do not turn 25 or 80 years old and look back and think about all the things you could have done.
Yeah.
So absolutely that.
That's great. And do you have any other dreams that you're thinking about aside from reading Nietzsche in German?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started public accounting and I started working as a Spanish teacher, but I don't really have a like a education in and how to teach a language, only my experience. So I
Okay.
want to do a master in that. And I think I would love to move to Europe. I'm gonna start working on that dream that before felt just like so impossible, and that now I think I can kind of see the steps towards.
Oh, that sounds like so exciting.
Yeah.
Before we go, I just wanted to let you know I spoke with the team, and we want to invite you to be a permanent member of the selection committee. So we would be thrilled and honored if if you would accept that.
Of course, thank you so much for the invitation. I would love to be part of it and to be mentor for other people, to be on the other side. Now I share that joy of that dream of traveling to other places. I cannot picture a life without it. And I think my experience as someone who had never ever done like that could help or could inspire other people. I would like to say this experience absolutely made me stronger, made me more independent, more confident, and helped me to see the world in a totally and better way than I did before. I also want to say that I didn't get to know Finn personally. He was a kind and high spirit soul, and I think this fund carries that toward. I'm just deeply grateful to the Finn Warman Fund, to the committee, and to everyone who made this possible, because it just didn't supported a dream. It supported the entire direction of the way I'm gonna live, and not just for me, also all for my students that I teach Spanish, and like for my friends that I want to show them how to travel, and for um all the people that I still have to know and I haven't know yet. So thank you
It's
so much.
amazing.
So I think it's means a lot to me.
Thank you. It's been our pleasure. It's been so wonderful to watch you and listen to the stories. And
My mom was really happy when I would visit a place. I would always call her, and she would always say, "Leo, I'm getting to know Europe through your eyes." It's something I had never thought, and she would be just like as excited as me when I was visiting like the Harry Potter studios. She was crying as well. She was like, "Oh my
really,
God, that's
oh, that's so great. Well, Leo, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your stories and your wisdom and all the knowledge that you have brought to, just to this to us and through your journeys. It's been great to hear it all. So thank you so much.
thank you for everything. I really appreciate it."